Hi, the major issue of the UPSC CSE examination is that many of the aspirants fail to convert their knowledge into marks. What I'm trying to make a point is, right now over the internet there are thousands of courses, hundreds of institutions, and multiple batches in every institution just focusing upon the stories behind the syllabus. And when I say stories behind the syllabus, I mean exactly the same, that right now aspirants are being prepared through the stories, but they lack to convert those stories into marks. And when they are not able to convert the stories into marks, they fail to get a rank in the very first attempt. That is where you will see many of the aspirants right now, they are preparing for the exam, but they are not on the right path. And when I say the right path, I mean they are not preparing from the exam point of view, in the exam orientation as per the demand of the examination. Hi, myself Sugam Bansal. I am from IIT Delhi, and here I will be taking NCERT batch with you. And when I say NCERT, the batch will be focusing upon the NCERTs from class 6 until class 12th. Whatsoever is important, whatsoever is comprehensive, whatsoever is required, everything from end to end we will be taking in this batch. Now there should be a question from some of you about the batch, that sir, first of all, what will be the medium of this batch? If I talk about the medium of this batch, the medium of this batch will be 100% English. Now we do have some English batch, where we talk in Hindi, like for example, हम लोग आपको हिंदी में पढ़ाएंगे but PPT English में होगी. So there are some English batches parallelly going on. This batch is particularly from 100% English point of view. Now in this batch, the very first doubt in many of your what I can say, the head should be, sir, who should be a part of this batch, or who should be watching these videos. Now if you have this doubt in your head, let me clear it very upfront, that if you are someone who is trying to strengthen the basics, from UPSC point of view, and when I say UPSC point of view, I mean core content. I don't just mean it with the stories which you will find on 99% of the platforms. Here we will not just tell you the random facts, random stories. The batch will be core UPSC standards, UPSC oriented, right? So if you want to strengthen your basics for the UPSC examination, you should be joining this batch. Now to make it more what I can say compact, if you are someone right now who is either first of all trying to give the attempt in 2027, or else you are someone who wants to give the attempt maybe in 2028 or beyond, or else you are someone, and listen to this very carefully, you're someone, if you think you want to prepare for the UPSC, shall I prepare for the UPSC? You should be watching this batch first of all. If you find yourself comfortable, if you think the things are making sense, you can take it all, then you should be thinking of giving the attempt. So if you're someone who is preparing for 2027 to clear a basic, this batch is important. If someone who is right now interested to prepare for the UPSC but for the later attempt, then also. And if you want to give it a thought whether you should be preparing for the UPSC or not, this is something which will help you. And for those who are watching, maybe if you are serious aspirant, you're watching this video, I will recommend that if there is someone who is trying to pursue UPSC as a what I can say, the career, or maybe the preparation as a career, so you can recommend those people also this batch. If they're comfortable in this batch, they can prepare for the UPSC in the long run. That is something which you can keep with you. Now once we are done with this, second thing, what you can expect from me. First of all, the very fundamental answer to this is the clarity. When I talk about the UPSC, you can expect the absolute clarity about the exam. When I talk about the subject economics, you can expect the absolute clarity about the subject, about all the topics, subtopics, and that too, as I already told in the starting, from the exam point of view. And if I'm emphasizing on this word exam point of view, I literally, want to convey one thing, that right now there is a gap. There is an absolute gap. There may be hundreds of institutions, but they are ending up following the same thing which is being taught everywhere, that teaching the same thing in the same fashion, same manner. UPSC is evolving, but the content in the institutions are not evolving, the pattern is not evolving, pedagogy is not evolving. So what is happening? Students end up giving 4 attempts or 5 attempts just to understand the demand of the UPSC. So if you're someone, if you don't want to give the 4 to 5 attempts, please be exam oriented. You will find ample of institutions, you will find ample of sources that are just copying the same thing in the same fashion, right? And they are delivering. But when the students are consuming it, and those who are serious, those who are senior aspirants, they will agree with me. Even if you are doing the full-fledged coaching right now outside, after that also you are not done even with 10% of the preparation. Even with 10% of the preparation, you are not done. Why? Because of the simple fact that right now just the stories are being circulated in the name of UPSC preparation. Okay. So what we will try to do in this batch, we will try to keep it exam oriented, so that you exactly know what is the demand of the examination and are you competent enough to take it all. Okay. So core बात करेंगे right now in today's lecture. I will not be teaching you anything. That is why you can see the name of the lecture as 0.0. Will not be talking about economy as a subject, but this is the most important what I can say, the lecture before we move ahead, and I literally mean it. This is the most important lecture before we move ahead. Now, first is clarity of thoughts. So if we are reading, or if you are studying what I can say, the economy as a subject from me, this is something which I guarantee, right? Whatsoever are the topics, subtopics, dimensions, everything, I will ensure that they are clearly conveyed to you, right? I will do my best, and that too in the exam oriented format. And when I say the exam oriented format, the things go heavy, but believe me, I will try to make them as simple as I can, right? So that you can take it better. Now, second is comprehensive coverage. When I say coverage, I will keep this comprehensive. And when I say this, that means you need not to effort anything other than this lectures for the NCERTs. Whatsoever is the crux of the NCERTs, whatsoever is the important there in the NCERTs, I will try to convey the conceptual part of it within the classes, right? Now, next important thing of this batch, especially the economy as a subject, notes. With my lectures, I will be giving you the notes also. Why this? This you will understand towards the end. When I will bifurcate everything within the syllabus, you will understand exactly why I am trying to give you the notes of the NCERT. Okay? These notes will act as a base for you, a solid base for you, right? And let me tell you one thing, when it comes to the content and when it comes to the exam orientation, Sunya is an institution which will keep you always ahead. Okay? These notes will be something which will act as a one-stop solution for the NCERTs of economy. I promise. Okay? Now, after this, if you have something, once this video ends, what I will do, I will add a Google form, right? I will add a Google form. Whatsoever are your doubts regarding the subject, regarding the UPSC preparation, regarding maybe choice of optional, or maybe if you're done with the syllabus and you want to get in touch with me, I will circulate the doubt. Currently, like down the line, we have some extra time so that we can communicate with you directly one-to-one. And I help a lot of students under the different programs, maybe Brahmas, Kavach, and so on. What you can do, even if you're part of AARAMBH, you can get in touch with me or maybe some senior mentor. 99% I will try to get in touch with you to the Google form attached in the description. Okay, so that is what you can expect from me under these classes. Let me tell you, when we are done with these classes, economy will not be a difficult subject for you. I promise that. I promise that. Okay. Now, let's start with the show. If you can see on the board, you will find the NCERTs which are important from the exam point of view. First is class 9 economics. Second is class 10th understanding economic development. Third is class 11th Indian economic development. Fourth is class 12th introductory macroeconomics. Then fifth is class 12th introductory microeconomics. Now, first thing first, if I ask you, if you will ask me, sir, which NCERT should we purchase or download as the PDF? My first answer to you, none. But if you will insist me again, sir, please tell us which NCERTs we can read on our own despite of you covering the entire syllabus. I will say these four, not the last one. Whatever is important from the last, what I can say the NCERT, I will cover them within the class. So if you want to do extra things, if you have the extra time, please do these four, ignore the last one. But let me tell you, if you are doing my classes, the lectures, I mean, there is no point of investing the time again in reading the NCERTs. I promise you, I will cover the concepts in the class and everything, whatever is required from the exam point of view in the notes. Done. So that you don't need these NCERTs. Because of one simple fact. The fact which I want to convey is these NCERTs unnecessarily make the things complex for you. Unnecessarily they make the thing complex for you. Now, in that scenario, what happens? You fear the economy as a subject. But let me tell you one thing, and you will tell me this in the last section of the AARAMBH lectures, AARAMBH NCERT lectures, that economy is the most easiest subject in the UPSC preparation. Most easiest. Okay. But if you will follow them like this in the same order, let me tell you, they will haunt you. Okay, they will haunt you. So the idea is, these are what I can say the chapters of the NCERTs. For example, this book has 4 chapters, this book has 5 chapters, this book has 10 chapters, 5 chapters, and again some more chapters in the last what I can say the NCERT. So these are the chapters of the NCERTs. What I have done, in the bracket I have written the themes of the respective chapters. Just wait until the end of the session, and let me tell you again, this session is something which I say as the most important session. If you're not making, if this session is not making any sense to you, I mean, if you're not taking out the things from this session, the further NCERT sessions may not be that beneficial. I mean, you won't be able to productively internalize those chapters, right? So this is the most important lecture 0.0. This will help you to understand the economy as a subject, and hence you will be able to keep the syllabus on your tips. And let me tell you, once you are done with the what is the syllabus listing, you are almost 50% done with the UPSC preparation. See this. If I talk about, sir and ma'am, UPSC preparation, what is the syllabus? What is the syllabus? UPSC itself do not give you the syllabus. I mean, the syllabus, the listing is there. I agree with you for prelims and mains, but that is not a comprehensive listing. You can never question the UPSC if the UPSC is asking the question out of that syllabus. That is the beauty of this exam. So when I say the syllabus of UPSC, everything under the sun is part of your syllabus. Everything. UPSC can ask anything. UPSC can ask the name of any fungus in the prelims. UPSC can ask any topic in the mains. So everything under the syllabus is everything under the sun is a part of your syllabus. So if we are able to funnel this and list this down, maybe through the NCERTs, maybe through the PYQs, or maybe through any other things, we are 50% done with the UPSC preparation. And the idea is this only, the pain is this only, that right now aspirants are preparing, and if in the foundation classes those 4 topics or 5 topics have been covered, they think that is the entire syllabus. That is not the case. UPSC will never limit to whatever you have been taught in your XYZ classes. Are you understanding my point? And that is the strength of Sunya. We first tell you the syllabus, then we start covering the syllabus. Okay, you can find my random YouTube videos on the GS2 decoding, GS3 decoding. Minutely we decode the syllabus so that we can comprehensively cover the syllabus. Done? And that is the importance of this class. Now, okay, if I ask you, Now we are going to the session. We are moving into the session. The agenda of the session is understanding the syllabus, okay, or understanding the economy as a subject. What is economy? What is economy? And when I ask you what is economy, and if I'm asking you to understand the syllabus, I don't want to be philosophical in nature. I don't want the definition. I just want the meaning in simple sense. Meaning in simple sense. If I say economy, economy is nothing. Economy is nothing. Economy is integration of what? Integration of market. Integration of market with the help of money. The basic principle, the basic fundamental of economy is give and take. We exchange the things. We exchange the things. So money becomes a medium in the market to exchange the things. Okay. Now, when I say market, in market you will have some companies. So companies also use the same money to exchange the maybe the services. For example, for a company there is an employee. Employee will do the work. Company will give what? Salary, money. So in what I can say, company, money becomes a medium to exchange the things. Now, for an individual also, an individual use the same money for what? Individual use the same money to exchange the things. Maybe you want to buy, let's say, bread from the market. You give the money, you take the bread. Okay. Maybe you want to deposit your savings in the bank. What you do, you give your money, the savings will be deposited in your bank. So money acts as a medium of give and take. So what I'm trying to make a point is, in economy there is a market, there are verticals of market, and they exchange the services with the help of money. Money becomes a medium. Now I know this thing is quite boring. ठीक है, ऐसे नहीं पढ़ेंगे इसको. How we will do this now? How we will do this now? If I talk, see, I'm simplifying the things. I know I complicated them, but now I'm simplifying the things. If I talk about the economy, the first thing in the economy is an individual. What happens? An individual is a center point of the economy. Two individuals come together, they make what? They make family. Few families come together, they make what? They make a society. Few societies come together, they make what? They make a country. So first is, at the individual level, we need to understand the economy. Second is, at the country level, we need to understand the syllabus of the economy. Now, if I talk about the individual, so he is an individual. If I talk about this individual, just assume yourself as an individual. How you integrate yourself? See, now I'm trying to make the thing simplified. How you integrate yourself with the economy? What you do in the economy as an individual? What you do in the economy as an individual? First thing is, you may purchase something, right? You may purchase goods. Now when you purchase the goods, the goods will come to you and you will end up giving the money. Purchase the goods. Or maybe you can give the services. For example, let's say there is a lawyer, or for example me myself, let's say I'm a faculty, or maybe I'm a teacher. What I'm doing, I'm right now giving you the service, right, or giving this institution a service. What I'm saying, what an individual can do, individual can give the service. If the individual is giving the service, what individual will get? Individual will get money. Get money. Now these services, whatsoever I am doing right now, is termed as jobs in the economy. Jobs in the economy. These jobs, if someone is doing a job, the person is employed. If someone is not doing a job, maybe what looking forward to a job, the person is unemployed. See, right now what I am doing is I am just trying to decode the syllabus. I am just trying to interlink the economy for you. Okay. First is purchase the goods, give the money. Second is giving the services but getting the money. Okay. Up. For this part of individual facilitated, I mean what I am trying to say, make a point, just increase your attention level. Please increase your attention level. Okay. What I am trying to make a point is, when the money which an individual is getting will increase. If you are doing some job, you are getting some money. I am saying when when an individual will get a better pay, the individual will get a better pay whenever the individual is better employed, or maybe having the better capabilities to get employed. Understand? For example, if I talk about someone who is not educated, don't you think he will be getting less money? He will be doing some job maybe of maybe 10,000, 11,000, maybe some what I can say, the unskilled jobs, right? So he will be getting a lesser amount of money. Now let's say if I talk about some high paying jobs, an individual is a scientist, or maybe someone who is well educated, well qualified, don't you think this will increase? So what I am trying to make a point is, these parameters for the individual will increase if for this individual I'm talking about the better capabilities, that he is able to do better in the economy, he is able to earn better in the economy. When you expect an individual to be more capable, आप एक इंडिविजुअल को ज्यादा कैपेबल कैसे बना सकते हैं? What are the options available? One, I told you that first thing is he will be more capable if he is more educated. Second thing is he will be more capable, that is he is more capable of earning more money when he has better skills. For example, there is someone who is unemployed, no job, nothing, but if you impart, so what will be the money he is getting? Zero, because he is unemployed. So what you will do, you will come and you will try to impart some skills, maybe of carpenter or maybe of some other skills. Once you have imparted those skills in an individual, the individual will start earning more, from zero to something positive. Okay. Third thing could be health. So if you are improving the health of an individual, see what happens if someone is unhealthy, the person will be unproductive. For example, let's say someone starts eating junk. The person is getting ill every week, maybe 2 days in a week. That means the person will not be employed, or maybe not be able to join the job, or maybe to go to the office for those 2 days. That means the productivity will decrease. If the productivity is decreasing, that means the money in the hand will decrease. So what we can do is we can make them more healthy. So if the health is increasing, the productivity will increase, and hence the capabilities will increase. If the capabilities are increasing, what is happening? Money in the hand is increasing. See, I am explaining everything in the layman language, okay, so that we are able to link. Then I will start making the things exam oriented from the lecture 1 itself. Right now my agenda is not to teach you anything. My agenda is to convey the economy as a subject to you. Okay. So education, skills, health. Now if this is so, what will happen? Money with an individual will increase. And if that is the case at the country level, see, if people don't have money at the country level, the people will be poor, and hence there will be more poverty in the country. You understand poverty, right? Poverty matlab number of people who are poor or below poverty line. What I am saying, if the money is not that sufficient within the hand of the people, poverty will increase. But if they have more money, once we are improve the education, skill, health and the other things which we will see in the lectures, what will happen? The money in the hand will increase, and that is the case. What is happening? The poverty is decreasing. The poverty is decreasing. Poverty is decreasing. And when you do this, when you increase the capabilities of an individual in an economy, the individual in economic language, or what I can say, the economy as a subject, is treated as a human resource. You have some resources, right? Raw material ho gaya, maybe other resources. Human are also considered as a resource in the language of economy. So these human resources are becoming more capable. If they are becoming more capable, we are saying they are getting developed. They are developed. So from this, we will see an integrated topic which is nothing but human resource development. That we are increasing the capability of an individual. We are increasing the capability of an individual. So see, fundamentally what is happening now? Fundamentally what is happening now? If I talk about the economy, the first thing in the economy is an individual. Let's say if this individual is getting some income from the companies only, let's say from the jobs only, or by selling some goods only, that is fine. If this individual is purchasing some goods, then it should be giving the money to whom? The money will go to the companies. Baba, maybe you may argue, sir, we are giving the money to the shopkeeper. It's fine. Ultimately, the money is reaching to the companies only. You purchase, let's say, a toothpaste, right, from a shop. Ultimately, the toothpaste was not manufactured by the shopkeeper. The toothpaste was not manufactured by the shopkeeper. In the most practical sense, the toothpaste was manufactured by some company. So ultimately, that money will route to the, or maybe some part of that money will route to the company. What I'm saying, an individual will purchase the goods and will give money to those companies. What this individual will do next? Whatsoever are the savings, let's say the individual was earning rupees 5,000 income. This is income, and we already have learned that if we want to increase the income, of someone who is employed, what we will do? We will do the human resource development. And what is that? That is nothing but education, skills, health and some other things which we will see later. Okay. So let's say someone is earning 5,000 rupees. Now I am saying the money which the companies are getting is rupees 3,000. So what do you think will be the savings? What will be the savings? You will say, sir, savings are nothing but rupees 2,000. Savings are nothing but rupees 2,000. What an individual will do with this savings? Tell me. What an individual will do with the saving? There are two options. If the individual, let's say his mother, generally my mother, she do not deposit the money in the bank. She will keep the same thing in the purse. What I'm saying, generally an individual will deposit the money in the bank. Okay. What this individual will do? This individual will deposit the money in the bank. The savings. This is nothing but the savings wala component, or maybe something else. If the individual is depositing the money in the bank, there should be some incentive. So what an individual will get in return? Some interest rate, or maybe something, some increased amount. But there is another what I can say, services which the bank offers to the individual, and you may know about them. Those are known as loans. You might have heard about, car loans or maybe home loans. For example, if someone wants to purchase a home, तो home loan मिलता है, property loan मिलता है. Someone want to purchase a car, so maybe there is a car loan. There are various categories of loan. Done. So bank take the money. Up. Once banks have taken the money from an individual, let's say there were many individuals and bank was able to deposit, let's say rupees 100 crore. A bank will do what? Bank will lend it out. See, on these 100 crores, whatsoever bank has deposited, some portion bank will give, what I'm saying, on this bank has to give interest rate to this individual also. कुछ तो आप ब्याज देंगे ना. अगर आप बैंक पैसा रख रहा है तो बैंक will give some interest rate to these individuals also. So what bank will try to do? Bank will try to earn higher interest rate. For example, this individual when keeping the money in the bank is getting the interest of 6%. So what bank will try to do? Bank will try to lend it further किसी और को, whosoever needs it. Maybe some other individual wants the loan. So bank will try to lend it further, maybe through the individual, maybe to the individual or to some other people at higher interest rate, maybe at 9%. बैंक ने जमा किया 100 करोड़ रुपए. Bank deposited 100 CR at 6% interest rate, which the bank will pay to the person who deposited the money. Now bank will lend the same money of 100 CR to some other people who need it at interest rate of 9%. And that is the difference which bank earns. That is the profit of the bank. That is how the banks are working. The difference is something which is a major thing for the banks to function. So that is where the bank. So what we will do, we will see the banking as an entire, what is the chapter or entire lecture. Okay. So this individual will deposit the money. Bank can give the loans to the individual, and don't you think apart from the individual, bank will give the loans. Bank will give the loans to the same companies also. To the same companies also. So whatsoever is extra, let's say out of these 100 CR, bank gave a loan to the individuals of rupees 10 CR. Whatever is left, let's say 90 CR is left, that bank will lend to whom? To some other people who want it. Let's say if the company is coming, now the bank is charging, let's say 8.5% or maybe 10% from the company. Bank will lend it to the companies also. Why the company will need the loan? Company को loan क्यों चाहिए? That is something we have to understand in the economy. There are factors of production. Company need to purchase the raw material. Company need to pay the salaries to the workers. So those may be running expenses of the company, or maybe company want to purchase some machinery. So company needs funds. So company will take the fund at loan from the bank. Now you will ask, sir, company have to pay the interest rate. So company may pay the interest rate to the bank, but company will end up making more profit out of the money which the company is taking from the bank. Let's say the bank charged 9% का interest rate on 10 CR which the company took as a loan. अब the company will earn more profit. Maybe the profit margin will be of 20%, 25%. Are you understanding my point? आप ऐसे समझिए. Let's say company took a loan of 100 rupees. Bank charged the interest of 9%. So company has to pay back 109 rupees after 1 year to the bank. What I'm saying, by using these 100 rupees, what company will do? Why the company is paying 9 rupees more? Company will make profits. Maybe the company has made a profit of 20%. Now by investing on this 100 rupees only, that means this 100 will be converted into 120. What the company will do? Company will pay back 109 to the bank, and what is there? Rupees 11 is nothing but the profit to the company. That is how the economy is functioning. Maybe the things are not that simple as of now, but when we'll pick up one topic at a time, things will be very crystal clear and will be mentioned in a flow. what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to convey the entire syllabus of economy within next 30 minutes or 35 minutes maximum. Okay, so that you have the broad perspective that how the economy is integrated. है ना? Up, let's say company. These company may have some extra funds. What this company will do? Will deposit those extra funds at lower interest rate. So bank will ask, so the company will go to the bank, okay, these are the funds available with us, some profit making companies. See, what will happen? Generally, the new company will take the funds from the bank, and the big companies, they will park their extra funds in the bank. So they will park their extra funds in the bank. Now, is there any other thing which should come into the picture? Is there any other, what I can say, the big player which we missed? Individual, company. Individual is taking jobs, company is giving jobs. Individual is consuming goods, company is producing those goods. Anyone else which you think? Will realize we have missed one very important aspect, and that is nothing but government. Now, what will be the role of this government? The government will act as a balance, will try to make the balance. See, if you will see this, there were two things which I mentioned. First thing is unemployment, and second thing is poverty. Whatsoever you do within the economy, I mean, in the greatest of the greatest economies, there will be some people who are poor, there will be some people who are unemployed. What I'm trying to make a point is, right now within our country, if I talk about the poverty rate, as per the Tendulkar committee, more than 20%, if I want to be more precise, 21.9% of the people living in India, that is every 21 person out of 100 are poor. That is, they're living below the poverty line. Now the data is old, I agree. I mean, we will talk about this later in the lectures itself. But what I'm trying to make a point is, even if it has decreased, then also poverty exists. Then also people who need help exist. So what this government will do, government will come to the picture and will try to make the things equal, balance, will try to honor the social contract. Okay, if you don't know, it's fine. What I'm trying to make a point is, government will try to help the poor, or will try to bring the balance. So what this government will do, government will say, okay, those who are earning more, be it company, be it individual, you pay it to us, you pay some part of it to us, so that first of all we will use the amount for the development of the nation. We'll make the infrastructure across the country, we'll make the roads, we'll make the railways, we'll make the pipelines, we'll make the hospitals, schools in the country. You give some money to us. See, understand one thing. If I ask you that, sir, let's say you are an individual. If I ask you, sir, please go first let me tell you the characteristics of you. You are a businessman and you have chain of schools. Chain of what? Chain of schools. Now understand one thing, when I use this word businessman, there is one thing which should click in your head, and that is nothing but a person will be doing the business to do what? To earn out of it. And in economy language, we use a word which is nothing but profit motive. If in a business someone is making loss, ultimately he or she has to shut it down. Band kar do kya? So if you're doing some business, the motive, the agenda is to make the profits out of it, to earn out of it. And that is nothing but, we will see in the economy, capitalist society. The society which is working on this framework. So again, I'm coming back to the story. You are an individual. What I have asked you to do, or what I have, defined as your parameters, that you have a chain of schools. Now, my question from you, online, everyone, please mention it in the comment section. My question from you, and don't think it from the, what I can say, the perspective of your character, or maybe from your character point of view. Just get into the shoes of a businessman. Okay, then see the things. Will you open a school? Maybe will you open all your schools in rural areas or villages, or in urban areas, where you will open all your schools? Just do let me know in the comment section. And I'm not asking it from your character point of view or your mindset point of view. I'm asking you to first get yourself into the shoes of this businessman and then think. Your answer should be, sir, we will open the schools in the urban areas. Now it should strike your head, if that is the case, if the schools are being opened in the urban areas, if everyone is thinking on the same lines, then what about the people who are residing in the rural areas? Let me tell you one straight fact. Right now, if I talk about India, around 70% of our population is living in the rural areas. And rural areas generally are considered as the areas with the low paying capacity. See, I'm using these words which we'll see later in the NCERTs only. NCERT says that rural economy right now in the country don't have the paying capacity as compared to the urban economy. So if that is the case, the private sector is opening the schools in the rural economy, maybe the fees may not be, the rural people may not be able to afford the fees. Hence, what will be the mindset of these people who are running the schools? That we will open the schools in the urban areas. These people have the good paying capacity, they can pay us, and hence we will be making the profits out of it. So what will be the issue, fundamental issue in the country? See, I will take you back now. Now the things will start making sense to you. The fundamental issue will be, the country will be, education level will be poor. If education levels are poor in the country, why? Kyun? Because 70% of these individuals are living in the rural areas. And if the schools are not there in the rural areas, that means the education level will be poor in the rural areas. And what will happen? In that case, the capabilities will decrease. And if this decrease, what will happen? The money in the hand will decrease. And hence, we'll see one more or two more words. Rural-urban divide will be there. The urban areas will be more richer, rural areas will be poorer. There will be inequality. These two words we'll see later in detail. Okay. What I'm saying, if this is the circumstances, what will be the role of the government? Government will intervene, and government will start opening the schools more in rural areas than the urban area. I told you na, that is the role of the government. Government will try to balance out everything. So, if government wants to balance the things, I gave you the example. What do I mean by balancing the things? Balancing the things matlab, urban areas maybe there are more schools, rural areas there are not more schools. If everything is left on the private sector, so government will come in picture. Government will try to make the more schools in the rural areas. Okay. Same is the health, thing with the healthcare. Same is the thing with the infrastructure. That is how the economy function, and you love the economy as a subject. I promise you this. Okay. So, abhi, please, even if the things are not making, what I can say, you comfortable, I don't want you to make the comfortable to this lecture. That is my sole agenda. I want you to I want you to see the syllabus. That is it. Okay. Just take it as a story only. I was criticizing the stories in the starting, but these things you take it as a story, so that we have to understand the subject from lecture 1. Okay, whatsoever stories have to be done, I will do it right now, and from the lecture on, we'll start the core economy as a subject. Okay, what I'm saying, if I talk about this government will ask these corporates that corporate, you are making the profit, and if you are making the profit, we need to balance the things, and if we want to make the balance the things, please give some part of it, give some part of your profit so that we can redistribute it. But I use the word redistribution. So we redistribute it. अब government will take a profit with a simple word you might have heard very beautifully. And that is nothing but taxes. So government will collect the tax from the company. You might have heard about corporate tax. That is nothing but the government is taking the tax from the companies who are doing the profits. Done. Similarly, an individual will pay the tax to the government. You might have heard about income tax. Not only these direct taxes, we will see the taxation and the direct and the indirect taxes. When you purchase anything from the bookshop or maybe from the any shop outside, you purchase anything, you end up paying one more type of tax. You have to tell me that in the comment section. You have to tell me that in the comment section. Okay. And what was the GST rate on something what you purchased last time? Okay. Maybe whatsoever is the product you remember, what was the GST rate? Please mention that in the comment section, in the same comment. Okay. Up. If the individual is paying the tax, if the company is paying the tax, government will have some revenue. Government will end up collecting some money now. You paid, let's say, out of your 5,000, maybe 100 rupees as tax to the government. So government collected that 100 rupees from everyone. Maybe someone was paying higher, someone was paying lower. Government collected it. Similarly, these companies will end up paying the tax. Government will collect the tax also. So government has the revenue now. Up. Whenever the government will use that revenue, whenever the government will use that revenue, what the government will do out of that revenue? Expenditure. So maybe the government is giving the subsidies to the individual. First category of expenditure. Second category is government is making the schools for the individual or maybe roads for the individual. We will see the types of expenditure being done by this government. That is where we will talk about the fiscal policy as a entire subject. What is the role of fiscal policy? That is where again and again and again I will focus upon the same thing, redistribution. We'll talk about the types of deficits. We'll talk about capital receipts, this revenue receipts, type of budgets, budgeting as a process, everything. Don't worry. So government takes up taxes and then government spend it. कहाँ पे करेगा? Maybe subsidies. For example, let's say gas cylinder. You might have heard LPG subsidy, है ना? Gas cylinder पे जो मिलती है. Then maybe government is making some roads or schools. You might have seen some government schools, functioning with some government teachers. So maybe subsidies, or maybe government may give the salaries. Let's say the armed forces, they are paid by the government. Okay, maybe judges in the Supreme Court or High Court, they are paid by the government. Maybe the police forces, they are paid by the government. Some by the state, some by the center. That we'll see later. But what I am trying to make a point is, whatever government has collected will be redistributed, and that particular thing, the redistribution and collection, is nothing but fiscal policy. Nothing but fiscal policy. Now, whatsoever is, let me use the technical terms now in pink. So this section is nothing but fiscal policy, and this section, which will be revolving around the bank, is nothing but monetary policy. Again, I am asking you, is this all? Do we limit the economy until here? Is this all? Do we limit the economy until? You will think, you might have heard about some stock exchanges. Stock गिर गया, stock उठ गया, all those things. Investment in stocks, shares, you might have heard, bonds. What I'm trying to make a point is, I'm trying to make a point is, this company don't only have a one option of taking the loan from the bank. Let's say if I own 100% of this company, I have two options of getting the money. Let's say if I own 100% of this company, Sunya IS 100%. Now I need, let's say, a loan of 10 CR, an amount of 10 CR. What I'm trying to make a point is, I have two options with me. First is, I will go to the bank and I will ask the bank, please give me some loan, I will pay you some interest. I will pay you some interest. Byaj. Some interest rate, yearly interest. Second option I have, I go to some financial market. I go to some financial market. Or else, I'm removing this word, or else I'm removing the word financial market because the things will be more complex. I'm using the word investor. I'm using the word investor. I'm going to some investor. I'm asking the investor, sir and ma'am, sir or ma'am, you please take 10% of my company. You become the owner of the 10% of the company and you give me 10 CR. Now see, in this case, you have to pay back the principal also and the interest also to the bank. In this case, you generally don't pay back what I can say the anything to the investor. The investor ultimately becomes the owner in your company. Now, apart from this, we'll see one more parallel, okay? And that parallel is of bonds. Bonds within the financial markets only. So those things we will see in the lecture only. Right now, you come here and you see this, that if the company wants funds, the company will can go to the financial markets also. Okay? And financial markets are nothing but maybe bonds or maybe share the economy. Again, the same question. Is it all? Is it all? Answer will be no. You missed one thing. That right now, if you see everything, we are talking about India's perspective. But there are international market. You might be using some products which are made in other countries. Maybe some toys from China. Maybe some garments from Bangladesh. Maybe some other stuff from Europe and some other stuff from USA. Right? So what I'm trying to make a point is, international market should be integrated into the economy. So an individual will make a purchase for a good. Similarly, companies will be integrated to the international market. Indian companies will sell abroad. So whatsoever is the things which is around the international market, we'll see this in our syllabus with the name external market, international market. Okay, this is nothing but financial market. External market, financial market, this we have seen as monetary policy, this we have seen as fiscal policy. Nothing, दिमाग पे जोर डालना ही नहीं आज के लेक्चर में. Just listen to it as a story. Okay, don't push much. Now, what else? If you'll see this slide, we'll see this slide. This we have seen human resource development. Another topic is poverty. Then we have seen employment related to jobs, and then we have seen money as a single topic, right? So these four topics we have seen: fiscal policy, monetary policy, financial market, external market. Done. What next now? So an individual will be linked to the government. Again, we are revising nothing else. Individual is getting what I can say subsidy or maybe services like roads, schools, all those things from the government, and is paying tax to the government. Same, individual is getting goods from the external market and is paying money to the external market or international market. Then we have company. So individual may be getting job or goods or services from the company. Maybe someone is employed in the company, or you are purchasing some good from the company, or maybe you are taking some services like software. Let's say maybe you have some installed software in the laptop, PDF or PDF, this Acrobat, or maybe Google Chrome as a what I can say the extension. So services you are taking from the companies. What you are doing? You are giving the money to the company, and when you are taking the job from the company, you end up getting the money from the company. Okay? From the bank, what you are doing? You may be giving the money, and the bank will be giving the interest rate or else loans. That is how the economy is integrated. Similarly, this company and this bank will be integrated. We have already seen this. Done. This bank and this external market may be integrated. Right? Indian banks taking the, let's say, money from the external markets, or maybe there are investors, taking bonds out of the banks in the Indian market. This government and companies are also integrated. How? Government is taking tax from the companies, and in return what government is doing with the companies is part of polity syllabus, regulation and all those things. Okay, that is how we have to see the entire economy. Now next thing is India as a country, what we should be learning in economy as a subject. India as a company, what we should be learning as a subject. See, if I talk about India as a country, the first and foremost thing is economic parameter. Now what sort of economic parameters we have to prepare? यार, you want to become an IAS officer, आपको एक IAS officer बनना है. Don't you think you should be knowing about the unemployment rates? Don't you think you should be knowing about the, let's say, the GDP of the country? What is GDP? We'll see in the lectures. Don't you think you should be familiar about the skill, what I can say, the prevalent skill rate in the country, or the percent of people having the formal skill in the country, the inequality in the country? What are the economic parameters? Tax rate within the country, FDI in the country, FPI in the country is something which is part of the syllabus, that you should know your economy as a whole. And that is where people lag in the mains preparation. They don't do this. This is nowhere mentioned in economy explicitly. So you don't prepare it. And if you don't prepare it, that is where you are not able to do the value addition in your answers. You're writing poverty बढ़ रही है. अरे by what percent is decreasing, by what percent is increasing? Savings rate को क्या हो रहा है ना? All those things, economic parameters in detail, we have to see from India's perspective. Then we have to see the sectors of the economy. What are the different sectors? See, you might be consuming some food. The same food which you're consuming right now involves all the sectors. The farmer who is producing that food comes in the primary sector. For example, you are consuming, let's say, jam, okay, jam, or maybe bread. Whenever the wheat is being turned into bread, there is manufacturing sector involved. And when some delivery wala bhaiya is delivering that parcel to your home, maybe through Blinkit or maybe through any other, what I can say, the tool, that is nothing but the service sector involved. That is the beauty of the economy. That is the integration of the economy. So we'll see the sectors of the economy. What are the different sectors of the economy and how they impact each other? What is the bifurcation in India? See, not only this, we'll see the economic development with time, with the sectors. What was our, what I can say, economy during the British era? What is our economy right now, and what we see in the future? So all these three phases we'll see, so that we can write the mains answer. Are you understanding the point of view? I mean, the thing how it should be done. So the economic development with time, how it has evolved over the period of time, and on what parameters. So the parameters will be sectors of economy, factors of production, those human resource indicators. That is how everything is interlinked. It's like a web. When you read about one thing, you have to talk about the other things. You have to talk about other points of the syllabus. Okay? From India's perspective, we'll see economic development with time. And let me tell you, directly and indirectly, every year there's single mains questions on this. 10 marker या 15 marker. That is the importance of this single thing, this single topic, economic development with time. Very important. Then we'll talk about the national income. See, mind you, when I talk about this individual was having some income. This individual was having some money, jobs, some income. But when I collect all of this from everyone, that is nothing but the national income. The income of the country, the income of all individuals in the country. Now how it vary, how it turns from GDP to NNP and all those things, that is nothing but part which we have to study. That what are the different types of national incomes and the methods of estimation. So national income, we saw the income from the perspective of the individual, and the individual not employed, we saw the unemployment or employment. But we have to talk about the same income at the country level, because on this particular earth, the countries are nothing but the individuals, and those individuals are doing trade with each other. You purchase something from the other person, that is the trade. So these countries are interlinked with each other, nothing but the international market. So what I am trying to make a point is, if I decode this syllabus for you, first thing is you can't prepare this in this fashion. This is absolutely wizard. You can't go like this, chapter by chapter. No. You have to prepare the NCERTs in the ideological form. Matlab, economy is nothing but collection of certain ideas or themes, which can be further bifurcated at two levels. One is at the level of individual, second is at the level of country, and third is the integration of this individual and country. If I talk, individual is nothing but this: unemployment, money, human resource development, poverty. Okay, individual. When I talk about integration of individual, that is nothing but this: monetary policy, fiscal policy, external market, financial market. Okay, integration. And when I talk about country is nothing but this part: national income, country ki income, maybe economic development with time, British era, right now, and how we see our future, economic parameters of the country, then sectors and structure of the country. That is how we will be reading the entire syllabus. Now I am just showing you from individual point of view. We will do this, and we will integrate. We'll integrate the similar chapters from different classes. Don't expect me to teach you these chapters differently. What I will do, I will ensure every line of it is beautifully covered within the classes and in the notes which I promised. What we will do, all of it will cover in the single lecture or maybe two lectures, but combinedly. Okay, if you can see the same poverty, human capital, so human resource development, so if they are more developed, human capital, employment, poverty, people as resource. Don't you think this is the same thing which we are talking about? Yaad karo, capability from what? Health, education, skills will lead to what? Human resource development, and this will decrease the poverty. So see how beautifully the syllabus has been segregated here. Okay, then at the level of individual, we will see the development of this individual. Then we will see the other what I can say, the new forms of development, like sustainable development. That whatsoever is the development of an individual or of a country, it should be sustainable, such that the rights of the future generation should not be compromised. Okay, we'll talk. Then I told you food security, consumer rights. Up see, these food security and consumer rights, I will not cover this along with this. I will do this towards the end. So once we are done with the individual perspective, then we will do from the economy sectors like agriculture, then I will sum to the food security. पहले हमने individual का किया, poverty, unemployment, all those things. Then we'll see the sectors. In sector there will be an important topic, agriculture. Once we are done with the agriculture, the food security will make absolute sense to you. Absolute sense to you. Okay. So that is how we will do this. So these two should be read together. Then, for example, if I talk about this government, or if you remember the word, the technical word which I mentioned, was nothing but fiscal policy. There is only one chapter in your NCERT which we will cover, government budget. But if you will ask me, sir, is this sufficient? My answer will be clear no. My answer will be clear no. We are talking about the basics. So I'll be just touching the basics here. That is why after the NCERTs, people are forced to do the foundation courses of UPSC. Okay. That is why we talk about the foundation courses of the GS classes. Because when we talk about the NCERTs, these are good for the basics. But if you ask me, sir, these are comprehensive. Are these comprehensive? No. You cannot have all the taxes, all the updations, everything in the NCERT. That may be the part of current affairs. That may be, something which has not been updated. That is something which may be the missing link. May not be available here. Maybe available in the polity book. We have to do it together. So NCERTs are basics, but we have to do the foundation also. Please have that mindset. Okay. Now, if you can see this, the external market, external sector, balance of payment you might have heard, globalization in Indian society you might have heard. So these chapters, class 10 chapter 4, class 11 chapter 3 of LPG, class 12 macro balance of payments, all of them we will cover together through a definite, what I can say, the interlinkages. Okay. Class may be different, chapter may be different, but the theme is absolutely same. The international market. You may do the trade, the companies may do the trade, the bank may do the trade, the country ka level pe, there will be some forex coming, forex going out. So all of it in the simplified format together we will cover. Then from the bank's perspective, money, banking and credit system, we have class 10 chapter 3 money and credit. Then we have class 12 chapter 2 money and banking. Both of them will cover in the single lecture, basics of banking. Okay. Then from the economic parameters, NCERTs may everything is very scattered in different chapters. You have the different parameters, that too outdated. So what I will do, we will not do this in the NCERT. We will touch them. For example, if you have followed my lecture so far, I have mentioned at least 2 or 3 data points in front of you. Okay. So that is how I will be touching all the economic parameters. But for this, if you don't have a defined source, don't worry at all. Every year I have one beautiful lecture, data and facts. One beautiful lecture, data and facts, every year for the mains giving students. As of now, it's very early to you. Don't rush behind it. Just write it somewhere कि मेरे को देखना है सुगम सर का data and facts. Then we have sectors and structures of economy, primary sector, secondary sector, and these are the chapters. These are the class 9 से भी करेंगे, 10 से भी करेंगे, 11 से भी करेंगे. From all the classes, we will do the relevant chapters together, and I will give you the notes also. That is the beauty. I will give you the notes also. Okay. The national income, we have chapter class 12th, is chapter number 1, chapter number 3. Then economic development with time, I told you we will start the next lecture from this only. This will help you to compare the economy. This will help you to compare the economy. So I will start my next lecture from here. This will be lecture number 1. Then we will go to this thing. This will be lecture 2, lecture 3. Then further I will give you the entire, what I can say, the schedule. And let me promise you one thing again, the lectures will be comprehensive from the concept point of view, from the NCERT point of view, basics wala part. Secondly, I will give you the notes also, which will be again exam oriented, so that you can ultimately feel the demand of the UPSC. Okay. There is one important announcement, very important announcement for all of you, especially if you are giving the 2027 attempt. Very important. I know some of you are part of this particular batch also. See, for the very first time, the core team at Sunya IS, is bringing this batch for you. So if you have not done anything, very raw, very fresh, it's fine. Even if you have done some subjects, or maybe if you're someone, see, ultimately, people come at Sunya IS once they have maybe wasted some months or years. That is absolute, what I can say, the fact. You'll find many toppers taking our name. You'll find many people just saying, you know, recommending Sunya maybe once they have used it. Okay. What I'm trying to make a point is, if you're raw, first thing, you have not done anything, आँख बंद करके please get in. ठीक है. Because right now we have the team which is best, which will make the things comprehensive, will keep the things comprehensive. So what we are having the Kavach batch, where we'll be covering from absolute zero. Like right now I started the economy from absolute zero. I just listed the topics in front of you, the syllabus in front of you. I bifurcated the entire NCERTs in the logical fashion. The strength of our team is we have a beautiful mixture of all the, you know, what I can say, the facets. We have the engineers, we have the doctors, we have some, you know, officers also in the team. So right now, if you can see me, I'm from IIT Delhi. We have Kuldeep sir from IIT Delhi. We have very fresh brains, you know, which will hold you tight. I mean, strong. So this is the complete UPSC batch from zero towards hero. Okay, that is how I pronounce it. So from very basics, we will start the things from the NCERT. Then we have the foundation classes, where very organized fashion we cover the entire syllabus, right? Foundation classes, we help you to make the handwritten summaries also, notes also. Then we have the advanced classes. You might have heard about my classes of Vajra, and mains oriented comprehensive one pager classes. Then maybe you know, you might have heard about Prelims bootcamp classes. So advanced classes will be the part of this. Then test series, whatsoever tests you need for the prelims, for the mains, daily MCQs there will be there after every class for you. Then maybe, you know, weekly we have one what I can say, the mains questions, so that you practice on weekly basis with us. Then we have one-to-one mentor. There will be someone who will be assigned to you. He or she is your mentor. Please, you know, get in touch. I mean, this is the batch. If you want something which is very solid at your hand, something which assures, you know, which backs you very strongly, something Kavach. If you need more details, what you can do, you can fill the form in the description. The same procedure. And now we have a very solid team. I will be taking your economy, I will be taking your ethics, essay. Then we have Amritan sir, a beautiful faculty of, you know, environment, international relations, internal security. I mean, you will love the subjects. Then we have Ankit Rothan sir. You might see his video of geography mapping. He will keep the mapping on your tips, right? So mapping he will take, then entire history he will take. You know, you have the same teacher for the entire subject, and you will start feeling the subject. You will start feeling the subject for 2B2. Then we have, I mentioned Kuldeep sir, Kuldeep Rathod sir. He's also from IIT Delhi. He will be taking the geography with you. CSET. I will be taking some part of CSET. He will be taking some part of CSET. And if you can see one name here, Trinetra. Just see some video on Trinetra. I mean, Trinetra is something without which you cannot clear the UPSC at all. At all, I'm using. Either you develop it on your own or we help you to develop. If you will develop it on your own, it will take some years. So Trinetra may we help you to develop the logic. Again, I and Kuldeep will take the sessions. Kuldeep sir will take the session. Will help you to develop the logic to solve the prelims PYQs, so that you take an edge from your competitors. You understand this. You might have seen the pattern. The people who are comfortable in cracking the prelims, they crack prelims year on year, because of the simple fact they know that art. So we will imbibe that art in you. Then we have Shruti ma'am for these two subjects, major subjects like polity, governance. Then we have Shom sir for science and tech. Then we have Hansika ma'am for the current affairs. Every week you will have a single class of current affairs. Comprehensively, you know, we will be covering the current affairs. Then we have Dheeraj sir for society, social justice, and many other subjects he will be taking with you. Okay. And if you can see, we will not leave anything. We will not leave any subject. Everything will be completed on time. Second thing, the classes will be live, integrated with current affairs, and pedagogy is absolutely something which is exam oriented. Comprehensive hai. So the class flow is GS classes we are taking. Then we have Brahmastra is part of Kavach only, where we have, you know, test every week. Then we have means answer writing classes which I will take, and this is something which no institutions do. No institution do this. So we will do this as a part of the program, right? We make you comfortable in writing the answer, because I personally believe that whatever you have taught, you're not able to convert that into marks, rank nahi aayegi, you won't be able to get a rank. So we help you to convert whatever we have taught into marks by teaching you the art of answer writing. Then once we are done with the foundation, the same thing will compress. Maybe the entire subject which we have covered in 400 pages will be compressed down to 40 pages. So that we can revise them again and again from the means perspective. Foundation mein everything will be integrated. Vajra mein everything will be from the means perspective. Integrate, one page of notes, summaries. Then we have Eklavya. All the mains PYQs will write live in the class. And let me tell you one thing. I mean, this I say very proudly. you won't find any teacher over the entire internet who can write the mains answer live in the class. You won't find any video. People will open the model answers, people will go. I write PYQs live in the class. Live means you will be writing on the desk and we will be writing, we will be writing the PYQs on the board. The solution on the board. We will not just open the PDF, we will write it along with you on the board. This is something which is very practical. This year, only we get a fabulous response on this, and that is where I have included this as a part of the program. Not only me, there will be toppers coming and they will be again writing the answers live with you. You are writing within the same timer, they are writing on the board. Then we have Prelims bootcamp day-long classes. You can see the strength. I mean, we generally have the, what I can say, the class pegged within some few days of the batch. So this is something which you can explore again. Then we have content, everything which is important from the exam point of view is a part of the batch. So whatever books you need from the mains perspective, so that this is the entire syllabus is the part of the Kavach batch. 4 main GS books are the other part of the mains Kavach batch. 11 prelims books are the part. Then you have the current affairs, prelims current affairs, Samadhan. Everything, I mean, other than the, what I can say, the standard books. 2 books you have to purchase. That is what I will tell you in the class. What 2 books? And other than that, everything is part of Kavach. Everything end to end until the interview is part of the Kavach. You don't need anything, no test series, no classes, no enrichment classes, nothing. Everything is part. Even essay, ethics, enrichment, everything is part. So these are some good ranks. And one more thing, when we claim the ranks, you can find their videos on the YouTube. That is the beauty of Sunya. Okay. You can find the many toppers taking our name on the YouTube. I mean, unlike what I can say, the other places where they generally, the toppers do not take the name, maybe because they have given the interview in the same institute. At Sunya, you will see toppers taking our name on the public platforms, maybe on the interview, or maybe in the news channels. So that is where I will rest my case. See you again in the next class of economy, where we will start the 4th subject, and it may be dense, but I promise you one thing, the things will be crystal clear, and that is where you will understand, you will start understanding the economy as a subject. Right now I've tried my best to segregate the syllabus, basics of syllabus, and we have segregated the syllabus in silos. Okay. Now from the next class we will start covering the syllabus. Okay. Thank you. See you in the next class. Have a good day.